Hello and welcome back to the Nexus Gaming Series. I am the Crushinator and I will be hosting tonight's series, but I'm not alone. Tonight I'm doing with Taco. How you doing tonight, Taco?
Hey, Crush. I'm glad to be here. It's nice to be back in a caster seat, ready to watch some good games. Headed into, getting ready for the playoffs of my own team's division. So it's nice to see how the season's culminating.
Absolutely. Glad to have you. Glad that you're back at it. Tonight we've got Scalding Sweat Cult versus Death and Delay, and it looks like they're starting to get ready. We better jump over to the stats while we have a chance. Talk about tonight's teams. Scalding Sweat Cult coming into tonight 4-4. They're 9-9 on the map record. Most played maps for them. They've gone to Battlefield of Eternity. They're 3-1. They're 2-0 on Alterac Pass. Most played heroes for them. Oh, everything switched on the screen. Oh my god. Okay, so the Scalding Sweat Cult stuff's on the right. They're 3-4 on Anduin, 2-3 on Greymane, 3-2 on Li Ming. What's Death and Delay looking like tonight, Taco?
So Death and Delay also coming in at 4-4. They're a really close matchup, these two, but Death and Delay nine wins with only 8 losses, so just eking them out in the stats, which makes this the perfect matchup to finish up the season to determine the placements for playoffs. Death and Delay must have had one little extra domination than Scalding Sweat Cult throughout the season. Death and Delay has been playing a lot on Cursed Hollow and Infernal Shrines. Those seem to be their strong maps, probably their general picks. And they play a lot of Uther, Greymane, Tassadar, which, oddly enough, is a really good combination. All three of them together. So it looks like both teams will be fighting for Greymane.
Does look like it. They both have a lot of games there on the Worgen Warchief. Let's talk about the playoff implications of this match here, because both teams, there is some chance for them to move around. Death and Delay, they have a chance to be 3rd or 5th. If they win this series, whether it's 2-0 or 2-1, they're looking at 3rd. If they lose the series, either 1-2 or 0-2, they're looking at 5th place. But Scalding Sweat Cult has a little bit more of an interesting option here, Taco.
Yeah, so worst case scenario for Scalding Sweat Cult, they play the number 2 seed first. Which means, worst case scenario is they're still in the playoffs. Best case scenario, they play Death and Delay again.
That's true.
So this game's more about placements than really anything else. There's not really a whole lot on the line except maybe Scalding Sweat Cult trying to have an easier week 1 of the playoffs.
Absolutely. We'll see how these teams react. They're definitely both in. We'll see whether they're angling for particular matchups. Draft is getting ready, so let's take a quick look at the maps. It is Cursed Hollow, Infernal Shrines, Alterac Pass, and Braxis Holdout that have banned away today. And it is Death and Delay who are taking us to Tomb of the Spider Queen for our first game. Taco, let's jump into this draft.
Yes,
let's see what our teams have to offer us.
Well, we're still waiting on that first ban to come through. Really looks like they're really going over it in chat, making sure they get that right first click of the match, because, got to set the tone. Getting rid of the Uther early on to really put it to, it's called Death and Delay. Sorry, we've been flipping the teams back and forth so much.
Yeah, we had a little bit of a mix-up there. I thought I had with the teams on the wrong side, but Uther highly played by Death and Delay, and it's going to be a Garrosh ban coming out against SSC.
Yeah, I wonder if Garrosh if they don't have a whole lot of Garrosh play compared to those 3 that we talked about for them, just through target banning and whatnot.
It could be.
A lot of times you won't get, like, your best heroes won't be your top played because they get taken from you.
Yeah, especially when you get some success early on in the season and then you never get to play those heroes again. The Scalding Sweat Cult is going to continue the tank choke there. Could be the 3rd tank, depending on your school of philosophy, with the Diablo ban, and it's going to be countered by a Gazlo ban from Death and Delay.
Yeah, Gazlo's been really strong since his rework, and just overall, in, I would say, a really healthy place. And a lot of teams that I've seen just don't like playing against him. Chromie also really strong. A few nerfs here and there since her rework as well, but just a strong hero overall. And definitely worth a first pick.
Absolutely. Brightwing and Diva coming through for MZ17 and MDC. These picks are pretty much what we've been seeing throughout a lot of the NGS, even up in the upper levels of play. These are just kind of top meta heroes, so nothing out of the ordinary from our team so far.
Yeah, D.Va, a really strong bully. She's got a lot of I see a lot of D.Vas just pushing top, and she doesn't have a whole lot of attack, but it gets there. It gets through the waves. You can position and hit like the entire set of the wall. So some good pushing power, and her teamfight presence is really strong. And with Joanna follow up,
yes.
Solid.
The rework that came through D.Va somehow seems to have given her more survivability than before. So just sticking on those walls for sure. Johanna Anduin, very strong front line and good save potential. Looking like a Protect the Chromie style comp. It's going to be a Zeratul ban. Interesting choice here, Taco.
Yeah, they must know something about Scalding Sweat Cult. But speaking of Zeratul, one of my favorite Zeratools just popped up in chat. So interesting timing. But yeah, Zeratul's not something you see very often. The presence though, being able to blink in over walls. This is already such a small map. Ganks that you can't see coming are just so strong. So in addition, Bashing or Ogle must be a Zeratul player.
Absolutely. Shout out to Arthanau, our big Zeratul in the chat. Gonna be the Rainer band coming out from Scalding Sweat Cult. Just hard to go wrong with the Jimmy. Makes me wonder if we're going to see a Greymane come out here for Death and Delay, since that option is starting to be narrowed.
Yeah, neither one's taken them, and they seem to really like him. So we Muradin and Tassadar. I really want to see a wall with the D.Va bomb. That just has to happen.
That would be a pretty great combination, but yeah, like you said, Greymane's second most played hero for both teams and making it all the way to the last round of picks. There's definitely room for Scalding Sweat Cult to fit it in here, but we'll see whether they're going to prioritize that on Tomb or if they just need to focus on more wave clear. It is going to be the Greymane, and Bashing's going to rack it out with a Thrall. So
Greymane with Chromie's Burst. A lot of people talk about Greymane Li Ming being a really good combo. I think Chromie's a little bit stronger for that. Less immediate blow up, but I think a better follow up overall. And if Thrall's going Earthquake, then there's no way Death and Delay gets away from the Greymane.
Not a lot of mobility on the side of Death and Delay, but look, we got a Zagara last pick here.
Yeah, and so I think Death and Delay, even though it's a smaller map, I think they're going to go for a macro game here instead, which Zagara just kind of spells macro, right? But what we were talking about with D.Va earlier as well, they have a really strong push with spiders comp. And
that's
so
true.
I think so Death and Delay needs to survive the burst and just shove. And I think Scalding Sweat Cult's going for a more PvP instead of map-based game.
We'll have to see as we are loaded right in. Let's go ahead and fire things up, and oh my goodness, my Oliops didn't update. We'll have to fix that in between.
Alright, well, so Death
on the
Delay,
left in the blue, we've got
go
the Scalding Sweat Cult. It's going to be Broomji on the Chromie. Broomboy is playing Johanna. Ogle the Great on the Greymane. Viper is playing Anduin. Bashing on the Thrall.
And over here in the red shorts, Dauntress on the Mecha Tassadar. MZ17 on the True Terror of the Skies. Delta Sniper on Zagara. Huckett on Muradin. And MDC on DVA. That's D.Va for the illiterates out there.
Absolutely. Here we go. Game number 1 is underway. Apologies for the overlay, folks. I'm going to get that fixed here for game number 2. I updated my Oliobs, but apparently that didn't quite take. We'll have to go check the settings afterwards. But yeah, teams are going to clash here, and we're going to see whose wave clear comes out ahead and starts these rotations.
Yeah, there's just a little bit of exchange going on. There goes the Joanna passive, not her trinket. And Huckett going to be able to heal up real well on her own. Thrall does show up in the bottom lane to counter the D.Va, but she did get a little free time, but I don't think Thrall missed.
Huckett's in some trouble in the top lane, manages to dwarf toss on out of there, but almost getting a gank onto Muradin at level 1, that would have been quite the feat.
Yeah, good early kills, get that confidence, get that XP. But also avoiding those early kills getting those good escapes. Kind of the same moral victory.
Absolutely. Looking like Scalding Sweat Cult has the advantage on the wave clear for now. Interested to see whether one of these tanks is going to start venturing across the midline to try to interrupt these rotations. It's been pretty easy moving between top and mid so far. Looks like Cigar is going to jump right on that bruiser camp. Oh, wow.
Diva's going to keep her mech. It seems like overall she's not really doing well on the exchange, but she's also, I don't think, going to get pushed on either. But she does get rooted and gets away.
Diva surviving really for now. That poke damage from Thrall is something serious. Uh-oh. Zagara going to need some help there from MZ. They're going to go ahead and try to finish off this bruiser. Today I learned Zagara cannot take bruisers at level 1.
At level 1 through 3, right? She's been there for a long time.
It's been a little bit here, but they're going to get it eventually.
Diva just sitting under 200 health, basically, well, under 500 health this entire time that I've been watching her. But really playing with her mech health bar as Greymane down below is going to take the siege camp. There is the first, not really first blood, I guess first oil spilt by Thrall, knocking Diva out of the mech.
Bashing pops the mech. We're going to have to see if Diva can build up that charge once again. It looks like Death and Delay with this bruiser camp are starting to create some space and interrupt the rotations from Scalding Sweat Cult.
Back in a mech.
Mech is back up online. Looks Huckett trying to turn in 24 here. Broomboy keeping an eye on things in the mid. Looks like they're going to go ahead and let the Murden turn in here, though. While Brightwing warps down to the bottom lane, try to help out Diva just a little bit here.
Yeah, neither team quite able to get a turn in. Greymane does return the bruiser camp, though. Now that the Death and Delay bruiser camp has been taken down, Scalding Sweat Cult going to try to march in with this spell armor they got. Oh, maybe not. They said, nope, it's good. Let's go top.
Rotating up to the top lane, it looks like Scalding Sweat Cult has been doing a decent job controlling the Zagara creep spread. Having that vision here for Death and Delay is very, very important, and Zagara can definitely help out with the vision.
And another half kill for Thrall, bashing the Diva mech to pieces. It's funny because his name's Bashing.
That's true.
So a full kill advantage, but no one's died yet. Thrall getting a turn in. That's going to put them really close. 45-3. Math is hard.
Only 7 more needed. Ogle the Great sitting on 9, looking for a sneaky turn-in the bottom lane, but there's MDC. So it looks like that's not going to work out for our Greymane pal.
Yep, both teams within objective range. They're in scoring position.
Absolutely.
Now to get a coordinated turn-in done.
Looks like Huckett and Dauntress are trying to turn things in, but MDC is the real key here, holding 19 gems for Death and Delay.
That's a lot of money.
Ogle the Great stuck in the bottom lane.
Yeah,
So
NDC
only
does
5
get the
left.
turn-in. First turn-in does go to Death and Delay.
Interesting that I guess Ogle the Great just kept getting zoned out, not enough interruptions available.
Yeah, exactly. He got pushed out by Muradin after Mura got the turn-in.
Let's take a quick look at our gigantic talent screen before I hide that thing. Looking pretty regular. We've got the slowing sands coming out for Chromie, as is tradition. I think the temporal loop has suffered probably more than any other ult besides maybe Apocalypse in the Medallion meta here.
I mean, it's still a fairly short cooldown for a 5-minute cooldown.
You've got to cast it a few times there for sure, and try to track the cleanses, try to track the medallions before it really pops off. It's a toughie in this meta for sure.
Yeah, and you know, and so I have been taking Sands a little bit more, but like into something like a Mephisto, it's just beautiful. It's great for people who already have escapes. I think that's where it shines even with these trinkets, because they forget about them.
Bashing getting polymorphed in the bottom lane. MZ with the rotation. Looks like Thrall's going to be just fine.
Yeah, MZ doing a lot of work for this Diva. I mean, Diva's mech is effectively an extra health bar. It does give some XP when you knock her out of the mech, but she doesn't really miss out on anything otherwise. So being able to use that health bar as a full resource is really nice. And Brightwing doing a lot of work keeping that health bar full.
One thing to keep an eye on here from our Chromie player Broomji, going Anderhall Anomaly, that's going to allow 3 time traps out on the field at once. So a lot of space, a lot of vision gained from that ability.
Yeah, she went Pursuit as well, so definitely that map awareness as well as that extra spell power.
Level 10s have arrived here for Scalding Sweat Cult. We're looking at the Blessed Shield, Slowing Sands, Light Bomb, Earthquake, and Go for the Throat from Greymane.
And I think that's pretty much what we would expect. The Go for the Throat makes sense into a, you get your target set up.
Oh, Blessed Shield over the wall, Light Bomb follow-ups, not going to find D.Va on the other side of that gate. Nice attempt there, but D.Va just barely out of range.
Yeah, well, she has a smaller hitbox now. You can't really blame the Johanna.
That's tough. She finds her way right through the shadows of that Light Bomb. We've got blue web weavers coming down the lanes here.
While they're descending, Death and Delay did pick up Emerald Wind, Archon, Micro Missiles, Devouring Maw, and Avatar. This small map, Zag, doesn't really need to get around as quickly, so Devouring Maw.
Oh, we've got trouble in the mid lane here. Huckett and MZ. Brightwing gets blown up by the Chromie. Avatar popped by Huckett. Dauntress in some trouble. Go for the Throat's going to finish off Tassadar. 2 kills coming in for Scalding Sweat Cult. Oh, the reset onto Zagara. Third kill for Ogle the Great.
And that's kind of what we expected to see. I mean, we didn't have the Light Bomb there, but Earthquake, keeping people in range, Slowing Sands, stopping the retreat. A well-executed set of kills for Scalding Sweat Cult.
That's going to give Scalding Sweat Cult all the space in the world to do the siege. Top lane fort almost certainly going down to this wave. Mid being pressured by bashing on Thrall. So a pretty effective second web weaver there. Sometimes we see these games go real long without any serious damage. But picking up those extra kills was a huge boon for them. Meanwhile, Death and Delay, Huckett on 22 gems, looking to turn things in and get another red web weaver wave on the way.
Yeah, blue team trying to get that double turn in, and it looks like, oh, they're 2 away.
Both teams 2 away on the turn in. They were going to engage here. Light Bomb's out, Brightwing down once again.
That's the healer. Death and Delay probably needs to back out now. Thrall caught in the Devouring Maw. And Tassadar with the sneaky up top. Going to the bank saying, I need to make a deposit. It gets the web weavers. That's going to balance out the map a decent chunk. Looks like they're going to try to balance out top lane specifically. That is the boss lane. And really a big sigh of relief for Death and Delay, not getting that second set of web weavers pushing it.
That would have been rough for sure. They're going to have to see what they can do and may have to start peeling out as Broomboy coming in from the outside. Delta Sniper doing a good job dismounting the advancing members of Scalding Sweat Cult.
Yeah, Thrall closing in on the D.Va, who is pushing with the middle web weaver, but I expect D.Va to leave after that fountain. And looks like the rest of Death and Delay backing off at top.
Focus going to be on the mid lane
but
here.
not quite getting it.
Uh-oh, MDC in some trouble. There's the Blessed Shield. Here comes the Light Bomb.
The Light Bomb.
Murden goes down in the back. Tassadar pops the Archon. Cigar is going to be going down next. No, there goes Tassadar as well. 3 down for 1 so far as Johanna is traded out. MZ trying to get away from Greymane here.
And that's the route. D.Va dash away. 80 health.
It's our lightning. There it is.
Blasted into the storm by Chain Lightning. Oh, again, that fight. You have the Divine Storm. You have the Earthquake. Light Bomb, I imagine. Well, Light Bomb was probably on Johanna, but you put Light Bomb on Greymane as well as he goes for the throat. You just, either one of those, just a really good combo of AoE, CC. It was a beautiful fight.
Great team fight coming out from Scalding Sweat Cult. Looks like Huckett's going to take the last sneeze onto that top fort before the blue web weavers come on through. Actually,
right,
Fane
so
in the chat, I see you're talking about the overlay. We're going to get that fixed up for game number 2. Don't worry about it. We'll soldier on here.
So you're in Death and Delay's shoes. You got web weavers coming at you. You're on the back foot. What do you do?
Right now, top lane, you've got a long time. I think staying in and getting as much damage into this huge wave mid is the play. You're not going to save your fort. But
No.
you've got to start dealing with this spell shield coming out from the bruiser camp. So Dauntress throwing things out. Uh-oh, look
There's
at
the light
that,
bomb
the light bomb
again.
combo. Tassadar throwing from so far away, but still not quite far enough away
That
from
was
the
a
Blessed
huge
Shield
devouring
combination.
maw.
Devouring Maw allows the escape of the rest of Death and Delay, but without Tassadar for the wave clear here, this is going to be a really, really tough defense.
Yeah, D.Va did a good job taking care of bot lane. I kind of wish she. I guess she's clearing up the rest of the wave, but her team I think really needs her in the mid lane to defend this keep. This keep probably going to go down. The Web Weaver's almost dead, but Tassadar's back up. D.Va's here. I think they're going to try to get the keep before backing off.
It's only just a little bit left. The minions are trying so hard, but they're focusing on other minions.
Wow, Chromie will get it.
Chromie will have to get that at some point. Looking for possibly a double turn in here as the top Web Weaver is going to be cleared away by Death and Delay. They've got enough for a double turn in, so Death and Delay's got to get out onto the battlefield right now.
80 gems, and they're just chilling. They're sitting there. Broom Boy is visible. D.Va going in and out.
Going for the double turn in. Broom Boy trying to keep MDC off this point. And there it is. Gonna have a counter bruiser camp in the mid, but uh-oh, Broom Boy's going in, catching 3 with the condemn. There's the light bomb follow-up, and this has been the story of the game. Tassadar is down, MZ trying to peel away with that Emerald Wind. Ogle the Great, oh, can't catch D.Va before the mech comes back down, so just the 1 kill. But that's the main wave clear coming out from Death and Delay once again. And this could be multiple keeps here, Taco.
Absolutely. Mid obviously going to fall.
Shield glare kill.
Hey, flashlight doesn't work. D.Va getting caught in the slowing sands and the root by Anduin. Gonna get jumped on by Greymane. There goes the mech again.
Maw prevents the further engage, gonna save D.Va for now. It looks like top lane is gonna be the focus here for Scalding Sweat Cult.
Yeah, and actually they might be able to defend this. The Web Weaver's at about half. D.Va's going down to clear bot because bot's actually marching in. But only the mid keep that had hardly any health is going to go. They're on the same talent tier. They are 2 levels down, but they're on the same talent tier. They're on the back foot. This is the best opportunity they're going to have to get back in this game. But like you said, it's the story of the game. You have Light Bomb and Earthquake with the Blessed Shield to set it all up, and Death and Delay doesn't even get to push buttons. If Brightwing could just at least press R when she hears Anduin yelling whatever it is, when he's like, oh, hey, I have a skill, then I think that fight gets broken up.
It's a difficult combo to deal with. You've got to be really proactive about the mech bomb. Looks like Death and Delay confirming that the boss isn't the play. 60 gems here for Death and Delay. They've got a full turn in if no one does anything about this. Oh no, Delta Sniper's not turning in. That's going to let Ogle the Great get up here. Broom Boy coming in as well, going to stop this. Looks like Huckett didn't manage to turn in either.
Yeah, Death and Delay does have just enough to turn in, and Greymane checking the boss camp up there.
That's a great little creep placement coming out from Zagara, going to catch any attempt to move on to that boss.
Yeah, and now it is gone. Greymane trying to clear it out. There's a siege camp pushing bot, which is going to catch the Web Weavers coming in now for Death and Delay. Death and Delay does manage to get that turn in done.
Scalding Sweat Cult.
Looks like they're looking for a fight instead of
here.
trying to clear room for their Web Weavers.
Scalding Sweat Cult would love a fight here for sure. We'll see whether Death and Delay gives it to them or if they're just going to skirt around the edges and try to find level 20. Dauntress is the key. That siege from afar has got to be there for Death and Delay.
Yeah,
Broom
absolutely.
Boy waiting for an opportunity.
The problem is he's competing with the artillery from Chromie there, who is just softening the field like crazy. That big Q, lots of damage from Tassadar onto Joanna. There goes the D.Va mech, big shot, trying to get some of that mech back. Mid Web Weaver's gone, top and bottom are about to fall. They really needed the turn in for pressure, but unfortunately they're just not able to get anything out of it.
Top and bottom waves have basically cleared themselves at this point. Level 20's here for Scalding Sweat Cult. This is a tough spot here for Death and Delay. They've got to keep an eye on boss. They've got to collect a lot of gems for their next turn-in. And they've got quite a ways to go until level 20.
Absolutely, and so they should be trying to avoid fair fights as much as possible, because a fair fight is not in their favor right now. And
Bashing could be caught out here, going around the architecture. Ogle the
this is
Great
what we're
caught in a
talking about
maw here.
And now this fight's about to be a 5v5, and they need to back up, otherwise they're caught. And there it is, Joanna Condemn into the Chromiol, and Brightwing and Tassadar just fall apart. The punish what's that? Subdue gets finished. Diva goes down as well.
Taka trying to peel away here for Delta Sniper with 3 down. Post level 20, could we see keeps? I don't.
Oh, yeah,
is this a core push here, Taco? I'm not sure. This is the death timers are coming under 30 seconds here.
The lanes are in their favor. There's no contest on the turn in. I guess if they try to go core, if it doesn't work, they can fall back and turn in and still keep map pressure during the respawn.
We're still 15 seconds out. This is definitely possible, but Greymane's being forced off the core is on very low health here. Earthquake put out as well.
Down as well. Even in Avatar, there's Rooted, Earthquake, Slow, just Puckett not able to move, and this looks like core is going to go down. Tassadar and Brightwing are up, but
Greymane's full health and locked on. This looks like it's going to be it.
Yep. Condemn, Light Bomb, core is dead.
Well done, Scalding Sweat Cult. Start to finish, seal up game number 1.
Yeah. Death and Delay had a good comp for Spider Queen, but Scalding Sweat Cult had a really good comp for Death and Delay, and it was a well executed fights. They didn't really have any like miss ults except right there at level 10, and so every time it was Blessed Shield, Earthquake, Light Bomb, and Death and Delay just doesn't get a chance to answer.
Tough going there for sure. They had a couple of moments of brilliance there in the mid game, but ultimately, like you said, the heroic combos were perfect for this Death and Delay team, and Scalding Sweat Cult's going to go up 1-0. Ogle the Great on the Greymane, topping the stats across the charts. Siege, hero damage, and experience gained, going over Bashing just there at the end. Not often you see that from the Flex DPS, but interesting bit of stats there. And it was actually Delta Sniper on the Zagara, topping the damage
actually topped
for
the
Death and Delay.
So, and that's what a couple of the guys in chat were talking about before, was that Zag has a really good team fight if you build for it. Absolutely. And I guess it looks like she kind of did, taking the split auto attacks, getting extra roachlings and bigger hits on there. I think overall she went. I mean, that looks pretty well to me like it's a team fight build, but I could be wrong. I don't play Zagara.
It's not the single target build you see with the serrated spines where you get the extra single hits while you're on creep, but with the extra roachlings, the split auto attacks, and the transfuse coming in on the Hydralisk, there's a lot of damage going on to targets of some variety at least.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think from raw numbers, Medusa Blades is the clear winner. But yeah, if you're looking for single target damage, then Serrated Spines can build up decently well as well.
Absolutely. All right. Looks like we've got our next lobby. It's going to be Battlefield of Eternity. Bring it back to...
Shout out to Ector coming in with the raiding party to come into game number 2 at Battlefield of Eternity with Scalding Sweat Cult and Death and Delay. Want to go and get that mentioned. Garrosh does get banned by Death and Delay, so that will that aspect is not going to happen.
No Garrosh throwing people into immortal stuns. Absolutely. Ektar 7th Ace, hope you had a great cast. Thanks for the raid. Welcome to game number 2. It's going to be the Uther banned away again, so I'm just not interested in seeing the Paladin. When you're talking about saves and you're talking about Divine Shield, just the Hammer of Justice all the time, that would definitely throw a wrench into Scalding Sweat Cult's plans here. Death and Delay going to take away the Johanna. So they don't want to see that Blessed Shield Light Bomb engage again.
So, do you, kind of like me, want to see an Uther Batman skin where all he does is yell justice as he does abilities?
That would be great. That'd be amazing.
Because I feel like that would fit Uther really well.
You throw a little gargle on that voice filter. I could see that.
Yeah, exactly.
I could see that, yeah, man. Oh, Gazlo got let through, and it's going to be MDC.
Oh, that's going to be interesting. That's going to be a lot of zoning around these Immortals, and those are choke points already.
Absolutely. So, choosing to ban the Chromie here with Scalding Sweat Cult, that means Gazlo's going to get through. I'll tell you what, my favorite Gazlo counter is Artanis, and I know it's not going to get picked, but I'm trying to tell people about it.
Artanis is a high-priority hero for this map.
It sure is. Amateur opponent not only shreds Immortals, but it shreds Gazlo turrets. Spread the word.
That makes sense.
Broomji gonna snap up that Greymane. Interesting that we got Broomji on the Greymane. Ogle the Great played it last time. And Viper is going to grab Brightwing.
And
there's that Diablo you were talking about.
Yep, so
bring in the
I am
noise.
predicting... Alright, so we're gonna get a APOC Diablo combo with the Gazlo bomb dropped underneath. It doesn't matter which ult he takes.
There's the Li Ming. They were hearing us, man.
Oh yeah, I'm liking this Death and Delay comp.
Looking fantastic so far. Now, if you're talking about single target blow up, you're talking about denying opportunities. Are you banning Ana or are you banning Stukov here?
Stukov.
I think Stukov as well. Ana can supercharge the Li Ming, but Stukov just turning off your buttons
or
is a
we
big
can ban
problem.
Jimmy the Large Minion Rainer.
The large minion definitely helps with the race here. I'd like to see something a little more flanky coming in from Death and Delay. Something like a Junkrat, something like I don't know, just something lurking around the edges, even like a Falstad. Could possibly do some work here.
There are a lot of
ETC
walls
banned
for
out.
Falstad to put a team. Which makes it just, what, like a 2-second stun?
Absolutely. ETC banned away. So that's a lot of tanks off the board. Maybe we do see the Maid. No, it's going to be Murd in here for Broom Boy. And Thrall once again for bashing. Okay. So not exactly the Wombo that we saw last time from Scalding Sweat Cult. They've still got a pick here. But with the Brightwing in the back and the Murden in the front, it looks like a little bit more of a catch team than an engage team.
You're talking about Scalding Sweat Cult?
Yeah. Because Death and Delay is looking like full throttle go, as the Stukov does come through.
I think Death and Delay's got a really good setup for this. I don't see. I mean, obviously the other DPS here notwithstanding, I don't see good combo. Not combo, but I just don't see a good presence with the Greymane. I mean, Thrall's oppressive, but okay, that's
gonna be Alarak. Scalding Sweat Cult playing a little bit more of a tricksy squad this time. Brightwing gonna be...
That's interesting.
I mean, Alarak is a map pick. You're talking about moving people into stuns, you're talking about throwing out silences onto frontline heroes. But I'm a little worried about this squad coming here from Scalding Sweat Cult into just the raw force from Death and Delay.
If Diablo gets the jump on Alarak, and Alarak I think is now the primary target, Diablo gets the jump on Alarak, Death and Delay wins the fight. But because Alarak can interrupt the Diablo combo on Greymane, I mean, Greymane's still the second choice, probably, because I don't think you get to the Brightwing well enough to not get messed up by Alarak. So I think if Diablo engages the Alarak, fight goes Death and Delay, basically every time. Otherwise, that's really scary from Scalding Sweat Cult, but we should see what the viewers think.
Let's see how things go. On the left in the blue, Scalding Sweat Cult. Broomji is on the Greymane. Broom Boy is on the Murden. Ogle the Great on the Alarak. Viper's playing Brightwing. And Bashing's back on that Thrall.
MZ17 over here, starting off the red shorts with the healer. Stukov, Delta Sniper on Li Ming. Huckett on Diablo. Dauntress on Vala, and somebody on Gazlo who's not on my screen right now because he didn't want to be part of the team. That's MDC.
MDC up there in that top lane. Overlay fixed. We're ready to go for game number 2. Looking at the level 1 quests, looks like nothing super out of the ordinary. Vala is going for that Hungering Arrow, that race build. So the teams are going to clash here, and looks like, yeah, Death and Delay have the... they've got the angles right now, clearing that lane, choosing not to go in on Muradin, a strong choice for sure. How's things going up in that Gazlo-Thrall matchup?
About like you'd expect. Gazlo's an asshole, and Thrall's like, oh, but we took the goblins in.
They're having a lore dispute in the top lane.
Exactly.
We'll have to check on that as the game goes on. The polymorph pull in the bottom lane here. Huckett taking some big damage early.
They're just trading waves right now. Maybe trading some punches. Oh, but nope. Bashing getting stunned with that faster Gazlo bomb. And the turrets are starting to do some work. Gazlo with about twice the health of Thrall right now.
Absolutely. There's the silence coming out onto Huckett. Diablo manages to reposition. And I think I'm starting to see the game plan from Scalding Sweat Cult. There's an awful lot of silence coming on through with the Alarak and the Brightwing. They're going to claim this bottom Khazra camp as their prize for their early pick.
Yeah, Thrall still, I mean, he's holding his own. He's got the self-heal that I guess Gazlo has a little bit now. I forget how they made Scrap work. But Thrall holding his own in the lane. Just kind of, he's more going for the soak instead of trying to just outright win the lane. Because, again, trying to push into Gazlo just won't work. But
definitely
overall,
a tough one for sure. Shaman camps are going to be picked up here, taken a little bit early by Death and Delay. It looks like Scalding Sweat Cult is going to pause on theirs for a moment, try to time it out with the objective that will go live at the 3-minute mark.
all right,
That's going to give Scalding Sweat Cult a chance to clear top.
to answer some questions in chat, we get trade at level 1 for Gazlo with Rocket Socket at level 4, which I think is, yeah. One of them's, I guess, more meta, and the other is
Casting the turret gains a shield. Okay, so there's a little bit of maneuvering with that, as Gazlo could be in some trouble. Broomboy is rotating up with the rest of the squad. Medallion is going to be used. Polymorph comes out, saving the Stormbolt was Muradin. Great work.
That's
going to be a gank in the top lane.
On Gazlo. That's going to be huge coming into this objective, but what do they give up for it? They're going to get...
Now.
So, Desert Blade does get a turret. Looks like they're going to get wall and the other turret. That's going to be big for pushing during this objective.
Wall is taken down, and it looks like they're going to continue in the bottom lane until Broomboy comes in and tries to halt that. But we're looking at possibly a full shield Immortal as the halftime show is triggered, and oh, here comes Death and Delay. They're going to go ahead and start their race, try to pull a little bit off this shielding as Broomji is locked on.
I don't think they really have the race. They could.
Oh my gosh, look at all the shielding being peeled away.
Yeah. Wow, that's actually... Oh, right, because Vala.
Hungering Arrow build along with the Gazlo there. Really good.
I would expect them to start trying to go on the offensive early with that kind of race damage, and force Scalding Sweat Cult to defend, and hope they can. And Diablo just being ready to peel them off as they come in for the defense.
The significantly weaker than expected Immortal going to be pushing down the bottom lane. We'll see what Scalding Sweat Cult can do with this brief level 7 advantage. Stukov zoning out with that lurking arm makes it so difficult to push forward.
Yeah, lurking arm is scary to play into. You just got to either move past it or go to the side. But when it's blocking the way forward because of the gate, it's a good disengage.
So it'll be a gate for a gate here. Checking in on the top lane, looks like Scalding Sweat Cult is a little worse for wear as Gazlo has been sieging away against Thrall up there.
Yeah, but again, the battle of Little Green Men does continue. Which Martian will take over? We just can't say. You got the one from the red planet over here. Blue planet, I guess, lost at birth. Martian little green man on the blue planet is going to give a beating to Gazlo. NBC had about a quarter health, using those turret shields to help mitigate that damage. But right now, Thrall looks in control, but we've seen how quickly things like that can turn around.
And Bashing going straight in there as the teams jockey for position over the bottom Khazra camp. No one taking an opportunity there. There's the Silence Poly combo onto Diablo once again.
And that's the trouble Diablo's gonna have, is oh no, he's building for sustained long fights, so that hard engage isn't quite what he's, I mean, if he goes APOC, he can still do it. He's just going to be relying a lot more on Vol and Li Ming.
Broomji goes right in, Delta Sniper almost getting picked off there. Gazlo, oh gosh, under 200 health in the top lane. Bashing to look for an opportunity. Oh no!
Chain lightning away.
You never expect. The lightning looks so innocent.
It does. Like, you think it's just gonna be like tapping an electric fence. It's just a little pulse and you can get off of it.
Just a little slinky bounce coming around, and then all of a sudden 300 damage and you're down. Mortal phase underway. We are in race positions. Death and Delay going to start on their Shaman camp while Broomji is wailing away right away. Looks like Delta Sniper's going to answer with the
Vala
race.
really needs to get on this Immortal for before halftime, but not gonna go.
It is Seeker build for Li Ming, so there is some race potential there as well. Both teams building pretty heavily into race. But now we're in defensive positions, so they're going to have to start moving across the map here.
And I like this. I like this play here from Death and Delay, going in, getting aggressive. They have the better race, so...
Level 10s have arrived, though, for Scalding Sweat Cult. Brightwing in the top lane, ready to come down. Huckett, oh, the double stun from the Immortal finally lands. Alarak showing value, and Diablo is down. Oh, Bashing gets hit by the absolute edge of the Arcane Orb, so 1 for 1. Well, Brightwing still trying to clear the top lane.
Really feeling the struggle of playing against a Brightwing.
Just so difficult with the silence into the silence, and you just can't do anything. Li Ming taken down there. Ogle the Great really flexing on that Alarak right now.
Yeah, and we also have Viper over here really demonstrating why Deathwing and Brightwing were misnamed, or name swapped at birth.
Gravel Bomb committed by MDC, not going to catch Alarak. Broomboy being chased out here. Very low health on this Immortal.
Yeah.
One thing to note, through all that engage, Brightwing was just sitting in the top lane, getting the soak.
They did have a big advantage after that fight, so makes sense. Go and get some clear, get some soak up. So, Scalding Sweat Cult more than likely going to pick up this Immortal with not enough health to really defend from poke. So definitely trying to...
Huckett can be taken down here. Cursed Bullet coming on out. Yeah, Diablo's going to be having all sorts of trouble this game, especially with the level 10s coming in. Scalding Sweat Cult looking at Avatar, Cursed Bullet, Counter-Strike, Earthquake, and Emerald Wind.
Going into Reign of Vengeance, Wave of Force, Apocalypse, Flailing Swipe, and Gravel Bomb on Death and Delay. So you have a really good combo potential coming out of Death and Delay. But we saw what that Cursed Bullet sets up for Alarak as well. So I think Diablo is trying to engage right now, which is what we talked about initially, them trying to get a pick and then set off the rest of the unfair fight. But at this point, I think he needs to transition to playing defensively. Wait for someone to get out of position. Maybe Greymane comes in on the engage after they think they've got to start, and then just move them more out of position.
MDC trying to get away here, popping every ability possible, but here comes Scalding Sweat Cult. The pull silence is good, and there goes poor Gazlo. Bottom fort gonna start to be sieged. And what we saw there in the early game versus Diablo is the Cursed Bullet wasn't even really necessary to convert these kills. So that's really just icing here for Scalding Sweat Cult on these picks.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, go for the throat just doesn't feel good right now. Like thinking about it, I don't think go for the throat would have been a good pick. So definitely going for that ice and get a little extra chunk in.
Oh, absolutely. Just denying any kind of shielding coming through in case you don't quite get the autos you want. It absolutely is going to help out no matter what the target you pick. But
Yeah.
like you were saying, Diablo's got to switch up this engage style, or else things are going to sort of keep continuing to go the way they're going.
Yeah, now there was, anecdotally, of course, I was in a position kind of like this that Death and Delay is in the other day as Diablo against an Alarak comp. And I just, once we had eyes on Alarak, was able to make him not be able to do a thing. Just combo him out, kill him, the fight's ours. But again, the Brightwing is disrupting the Diablo, turning him into a sheep or a crab or a whatever. I mean, he already looks like a crab, but just the Brightwing, a huge disruption on everything Deathly is trying to do.
Absolutely. Drink water, streamer has been called in the chat. Delicious. Immortals spawning in 5 seconds here. Got some well-timed shamans marching down the lanes. And we're in race positions. This is good for Death and Delay.
Yeah, they can force halftime early, get a pick. However, Scalding Sweat Cult does come in with a pretty good race as well.
About a 4,000 hit point
maybe they
difference.
go to neutral positions? No.
We're in defensive. Diablo gonna look for an angle here. Gonna need to find the pick on that Alarak, like you were saying. Any other target means it's multiple silences coming right at you.
Yeah, but they don't know where Alarak is.
Alarak in the back, just lurking around the corners.
But he's staying out of vision really well, and until he's ready to be seen. And I mean, that's just good positioning. And there he is. He comes in, pulls into Diablo. Diablo silence rooted. There goes
the APOC coming
wind,
out.
following
Oh,
up
the flailing swipe as
big
well.
APOC stun to get Diablo out. I don't think they're going to be able to re-engage on this though.
That's a lot of ults down here. Can Death and Delay start to move back in? They're moving on to Bashing. The flip is good. Gravel Bomb just to be sure. Bashing's going to go down. Death and Delay are starting to turn this thing around.
They are. They came back in. They have a little bit under half health on their Immortal, but they are on the offensive side now. And Li Ming just melting that with that, what is that, Seeker?
Seeker
Just-
on 7.
Yeah, just absolutely destroyed that Immortal. I'm sure Vala helped, but I mean, Vala gets enough credit usually anyway, so
Immortal's going to come on through here for Death and Delay. Gazlo's going to have to catch up the bottom lane. Top lane already very pushed in as well. So Scalding Sweat Cult's got a lot of room
no
here.
shield on the Immortal, so Gazla gonna, yeah, like you said, gonna go push bot. I don't think Death and Delay even really wants to show up for this.
Looks like they're moving in. Oh my goodness, going right in on the Greymane. Ogle with the pull. Diablo is down.
Greymane able to dive away and go invisible just in time to really make Diablo sad. Just sad.
It's like MDC is working the bottom lane. The rotation's coming through. I don't think Gazla's going to get out of here in time. Bashing's going to move through the stun.
Brawl moving in, gets the root. Brightwing teleports as well. There's the poly and a silence on Navala. Both of them getting caught. Gravel bomb to zoning gravel bomb really makes Scalding Sweat Cult really not want to play into that fight. But Li Ming gets almost caught out, pops the trinket just in time to not get rooted. Here comes the Stormbolt. No, Rain of Vengeance with what a disengage. Okay, Death and Delay really delaying death right there.
What a tremendous set of medallions there.
That
Gazlo popping the bombs, popping the ult to get away. I thought Vala was going down. Dauntress manages to vault away. Perfect medallion timing. No kills. Great work by Death and Delay. Looks like they may have to make another great escape here. Scalding Sweat Cult's coming on in. Huckett and MZ trying to Hearthon out, but Broomboy finds the Thunderclap.
Oh, but a 5-man engage onto the 2. The rest of Death and Delay did already get away. Oh, man.
Diablo and Stukov gambling on the Hearth, but do not manage to channel it in time.
Yeah. you hate to see it.
Tough spot there for sure. Death and Delay. It looked like they had figured out the formula. They could still figure it out. They've got both their keeps. It certainly isn't over by a long shot.
They do. It's a pretty even game overall, which, looking at how these fights have gone, and I need to find... So the kill count's 10 to 2. But they're only down a level. They're on the same talent tier. They're down a level. They have a little bit left on that top fort. Otherwise, the map's pretty well even.
They definitely have room here. It's got to be here, and it's got to be now, though. Another lost team fight, and you're looking at possibly being down a lot of levels to a level 20 team. Broomboy's going to find Gazlo on the outside. The pull is good from Mogul into the stun. Oh, no. Puckett trying to get away.
Combo. There's the APOC, flailing swipe to keep him in the APOC. Good disengage. And like you said, it needs to be now. They got to get it happening, but they can't force it either. Forcing it's where you get mistakes, and they gotta avoid hitting the panic button while being in panic mode.
Curse Bullet's still down for a couple seconds. Doesn't look like Death and Delay is going to get the engage they want, but they are back to full health. Let's see if they can find themselves an angle here.
But they have a great immortal position. So this defensive set of immortals, their defense is really strong.
It has been very strong through this game, that's for sure. They've got to go defend the bottom lane, though, as the Shaman and the Catapult are pushing in. That's going to force a halftime show here for Scalding Sweat Cult. We're going to have to see where these Immortals move to.
Death and Delay hoping to see red on their screen. Blue for us. No, they do go to neutral positions.
We're in neutral. And looks like both teams going to favor the defense for now.
Yep. Stukov hanging back. Gazlo trying to catch someone with bombs. Look at all those turrets, though, trying to get that extra damage. Li Ming raining in damage on the Immortal, trying to even up the score. There's a catch on right wing.
Viper.
The Emerald Wind getting interrupted. Death and Delay loses Diablo, but he does have souls. It's still basically a 5v4. Death and Delay at the advantage for another 40 seconds.
Scalding Sweat Cult losing their healer, and with the poke coming out from Li Ming and Vala, there's only so long Scalding Sweat Cult's going to be able to remain, trying to find the kill onto MZ.
Jumped on APOC combo onto the Greymane. That's exactly what we were talking about. Muradin looking low. Broomboy not getting the regen because he keeps getting peppered. Vala going in for the close. This is going to be an Immortal for Death and Delay. Well done on that fight. Great patience. So much patience. The delay is a really accurate part of their name right now. And
fantastic mid-game adjustments here. They trade out some Diablo souls for 3 kills and an Immortal.
I don't know about you, but I want to know what Coach said at halftime.
We're gonna have to wonder here, because there has been some absolute big changes. Beginning of the game just looked like, uh-oh, here comes another one. Here comes a quick series. Death and Delay. Now they're marching towards a keep. And level 20 is still pretty far away here for Scalding Sweat Cult.
I have my dream still alive for a game 3. I live for game 3s.
There's the stuns onto Ogle. Alarak managing to get away here and tap back up. Immortal still has some shields as it moves on to this keep. And it's going to be 19 versus 19. Can Death and Delay find a pick? This keeps absolutely going down here. Pocket looking for an angle.
They would love to get a pick right here. Broomboy up against the wall, but Diablo is stunned. A big orb coming out from Li Ming. Right wing does teleport in.
Level 20's on the horizon. Death and Delay are sticking around here. The pull and the poly is good onto Diablo. Oh, Gazlo goes down.
Not able to save the Gazlo, but there's core damage. Core at 76%. Death and Delay going to have to make the smart move and back up. I've seen so many games fall apart on a core push that gets even into single digits. But
it was
a really good no call coming from Death and Delay. But here comes Scalding Sweat Cult coming in onto this cruiser cam. You're just saying, you know what? I'm going for it now.
Bashing finds the root. Huckett trying to reposition with the shadow charge. Look at that peel with the rain. MZ's still alive. The counter kill onto Brightwing.
Wow. I don't even know. I mean, these are two teams that are playing like they have nothing to lose, because they really don't. And so some all out, just going all out there. A fantastic
Now
fight
we've
to
got
see.
a counter camp invade. Huckett's coming in, wants this Alarak. There's the counter strike, but Google's
like-
gonna go down.
It's like they're in the same chat channel. Like, hey guys, you know that thing we just did? Let's do it on the other side now.
They're gonna cap the camp. It's 30 seconds till Brightwing, a minute till Alarak. This could be core here, Taco.
It wouldn't be NGS if they didn't go for it.
76% plus shields. Broomboy throwing out the storm bolts to try to survive. Here comes the Shaman camp. Flailing Swipe level 20 is online here for Death and Delay. There's the flip onto Murden. The catapults are starting to catch up, and I think this could be core. Brightwing up in 5 seconds, though. Scalding Sweat Cult's not out of this yet. Broomboy just to get away, but we're at 60% on the core. Here comes Viper. 40 on the core. Broomji was working on the edges. 28%, but Dauntress is low. Vol is down. Delta Sniper trying to move
taking a lot of
through.
damage from structures. Li
Ming's
fall,
down.
7%,
Huckett and
5-4.
MDC.
That's, oh my goodness, we have a game 3 crush.
Game number 3 coming in. Death and Delay with the slow roll on the core, and they take it down.
Yeah. Wow. What a game. Oh man. That late game adjustment. That late game
my
adjustment
goodness.
just worked really well. And again, it was he stopped and I really think that adjustment is full on Huckett. I think Huckett gets pretty much all the credit for turning that game around because he stopped looking for something that wasn't there and started waiting for it to show up.
Absolutely. Diablo picking their spots. Great disengages coming out from Stukov in the late game. Gazlo zoning people out. And wow, talk about a game back and forth there on Battlefield of Eternity. Kill count 15-7 for Scalding Sweat Cult there. Just absolutely ruling the early game, pick after pick. And it came right down to the end. But we're going to have ourselves a game number 3 here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love game 3s. I just, I hope it's not like GGS was the other day in a set of 3 40-minute games. But, and honestly, and we haven't gotten a map pick yet, but honestly, I hope it's Towers of Doom, because what better place for a game 3 than Towers of Doom?
Towers of Doom, the ultimate game number 3 for sure. We'll have to see what our teams pick.
We should petition Blizzard to rename Towers of Doom the Equalizer.
See what we're going to have for our first ban. And there it is. Uther, 3rd game in a row, banned away.
He's a good hero.
Hard to go wrong.
Yeah.
You can throw him on support, throw him on tank, whatever you're feeling, whatever your flavor.
We did a scrim where we ran TLV with the Uther blow-up comp.
There's that Zeratul ban again.
Yeah, like I said, I think he's relevant here. The way this map's set up, you can catch the top lane, you can catch someone in mid, because everybody except for the offlaners should be in bot pretty much the entire time. I want to see an early invade on siege camp, one way or the other, because of how impactful that camp is too.
It is very impactful on the first objective. We're going to see Scalding Sweat Cult not interested in seeing Huckett's Diablo again. And
yeah,
there goes
Huckett
Chromie.
really got it figured out, and was it scary once he got it figured out. Chromie going away, also really impressive here.
A lot of tanks on the board here. We've got the Johanna picked up by Broomboy. We're still looking at Garrosh ETC availability. Not sure which one. I mean, when you're talking about brawling, you're talking about split fights on Dragonshire. I'm thinking Garrosh, but you can definitely make other things work here. Garrosh into Johanna is also questionable, so we'll have to see what Death and Delay wants to pick up.
As long as you're not trying to throw Johanna, like, I don't know.
It's tough. Like, you don't really want to throw Johanna unless you've got serious follow-up, but then Johanna's just walking in your face all the time. It can be a toughie. Li Ming, Ana. Ooh, Ana enters the series here for Scalding Sweat Cult.
I can dig it. I can absolutely dig it. Ana in the right hands is very scary. Ana can also be really underwhelming. It all comes down to if Granny needs to go get a new prescription or not.
If Viper's hitting those sleep darts, Li Ming just needs to hover that mouse, and we'll see if the blow-up can land. But Anduin there for the saves could be a key here for Death and Delay. Because they get to ban away the Greymane. So they take the Raynor and ban the Greymane this time.
You know what the odd thing about Ana is, now that I think about it? At best, she has 20 vision.
Okay.
She can't be 20/20, she's got an eye patch.
That's true. You only get the one. That'd be a great voice line. Come on, Blizz. Tassadar banned away here by Scalding Sweat Cult.
Wait, don't worry, I have 20 vision.
I have 20 vision. What did you say? You heard me.
Tassadar going away. A lot of pressure on, especially in that bot lane, on that objective. Being able to block off the entry/exit, depending on which side of it you're on. Being able to block off that bush, lots of damage on the objective or on the control point itself. A Nubarak, I love it. I love a Nubarak.
Game 3, a Nubarak. Nubarak is an absolute scale tilter of a tank. Love to see that in a game number 3. And if you're talking about a tank with engage potential, you don't have Diablo available, you're thinking about a Nubarak.
I would not be surprised to see Beetles.
Beetles come out to deny the Blessed Shield. There's more targets for that.
Yeah.
Block Li Ming stuff.
Well, yeah, it's an extra intercept for the shield. Now shield does prioritize heroes after the first hit.
That's true.
But
that's true.
Beetles is just really strong now. We were watching the Beetle build, or I was watching the Beetle build several weeks ago, where it does have a lot of that blocking for Li Ming stuff. But
you've got a Tracer coming out here.
I haven't seen Tracer in a long time. Is Tracer
with Ana support. It's going to be MDC wrapping it up with a Leoric to go against that top lane Sonya.
Is Tracer relevant still?
Tracer is still good in the hands of good Tracers. I'm worried about it into Raynor with an Ana support on your side. Kael'thas has a point and click to throw it on damage on Tracer. Raynor outranges Tracer. And Ana's going to have a tough time healing Tracer. But sometimes you're just that skilled a Tracer. Like, it's just that kind of hero.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Viper and Ogle are just like, yeah, I'm not going to even try to heal you. And he's like, I'll stand still if I need it.
I mean, you're talking about, you can get some good Kael'thas harass. You can get some good Anduin harass. We'll have to see how it comes out. They're obviously confident enough to pick it in that spot. We'll see how it lands. Game number 3 coming in here on the left in the blue. It is Scalding Sweat Cult. Broomboy on the Johanna. Bashing is playing Sonya. Ogle the Great on the Tracer. Viper is playing the Ana. And Broomji on the Li Ming.
And in the red shorts, we got Huckett on a Nubarak, Dauntress on Jimmy the Large Minion, Raynor, MZ17 on Anduin, Delta Sniper on Katie, and MDC on Leoric.
Here we go, Taco. Game number 3 is underway. It is the Beetle build here for a Nubarak. Kael'thas, of course, looking for those globes, trying to help out with that arcane barrier. Bastion going straight in there, as only a barbarian can. Ogle the Great sticking around the outside as Broomboy being pushed back. Look at that Beetle go. Nimnomin away.
Up the top, Tracer does come up to help out Bashing against Leoric, and after a little bit of harass, just runs back down. And while Death and Delay is ahead on the rotation, should be just 4-man rotations the entire time. As Sonya and Leoric just have to go back and forth. They both have a lot of sustain that involves damaging the other, so I expect this to be pretty much the same ball game the whole time.
That should be pretty even there in the top lane, unless Leo is missing Drain Hopes. Then Sonya wins hard.
Yep, and he did just miss one. And
it's a tough one to hit. Sonya is a tough one to hit just because she gets to wiggle around during that whirlwind.
Well, I don't think he should even try to drain hope unless he hits the Q.
I agree for sure. It's such a hard... For some reason, the delay on it, makes it a very difficult skill shot to hit on the fly. Here we go. First objective underway. The siege camp's gonna huck rocks at each other for a moment. So it looks like Death and Delay are controlling the bottom shrine, and Tracer harassing Leoric in the mid.
Yeah, I think
we're starting to
Leoric's
see the game plan come
Death and
through.
Delay so that they can just constantly push bot, and they're just gonna work on bot siege in general, while Leoric double soak. Sonya's gonna hold the top objective. Leoric's not really gonna contest that, and they're just gonna like we were talking about before. I think they're gonna this looks more like a macro instead of a hard engage.
Absolutely. Ogle the Great manages to get away from the Chastise, trying to finish off Delta Sniper. Oh, Huckett with the 26 health. Dauntress can't quite find the penetrating round there. Hitting a burrow charge onto a Tracer. Check 1 in the achievement slot there for Huckett.
Right? Yeah, Tracer with hardly any health left, but I'm still not sure she can count that high. It's like my gun holds 10.
10 is what you get. That was double 10 plus a bit.
Yeah.
So
like
I think we're with the...
well, magazines. Clips are different, but no one knows that, so that's...
So with this rotating Tracer making life difficult for Leoric, Death and Delay, they've either got to go with the 1-1-3 or they've got to just siege as hard as they can here. Looks like they're starting to get some work done down in the bottom lane as Ogle the Great comes down to help out.
Yeah, MDC up at the top, really low, and a big stun coming from bashing onto Leoric. Gonna catch him just in time. A big kill coming out of Sonya. Leoric just so close to getting away.
As a solo laner, I must say, this is not the agreement. The agreement amongst solo laners is that it's an honorable 1v1 where you clear the minions, and that's it. And Scalding Sweat Cult has broken the deal.
Oh, there will be blood. Leoric's back up, and bashing is at just over half health. That's Leoric coming back with a vengeance. So
Leo's starting to... There's that Drain Hope using that staggered auto attack, landing the criticals. As the bottom lane push. Yeah, I play myself some Leoric.
What's your thoughts on the various level 1s for self-sustain?
I generally like Ossian Renewal, the one that, the activatable...
Active, right?
Yeah, the activatable that regen globes reduce the cooldown, because it's just better for a 1v1. But if you're thinking at all about going into a team fight, going into a big frontline comp, the Skeletal Swing heals is a huge amount of sustain once you get into the later levels.
Yeah, I think the Ossian Renewal being able to be used off the lane, as Leoric does get away with a couple hundred health, trying to stay alive for
the fealty unto death. Oh, Delta Sniper trying to get away here. Ogle the Great with the hit. That's Hailthos down. Now, the fealty unto renewal, I can see it. Leoric clearly expecting to double soak here. Get 2 lanes worth of minions, get 2 lanes worth of health and mana regen. But the Tracer just really ruining that.
Too?
You would get extra value out of Ossian, yes. Uh-oh, Leoric down once again.
You're not sticking around to grab the enemy globe either, though. So.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense.
Leo gonna ghost around the top lane, but will not be back quick enough.
Dragon. That is a 5-minute dragon. This probably gonna take a fort, if not at least a full set of
Working on the mid wall here, but getting chunked by the entirety of Death and Delay.
With no team to back up the dragon, this dragon does get melted, so...
Tracer gonna throw out the breath. I don't think that's gonna end it. Ogle the Great is a Tracer and will get away.
And Tracer making me a liar.
Level 10s have come through for Scalding Sweat Cult. It is the Blessed Shield, Disintegration Beam, the Sticky Bomb, Leap from Sonya, and the Nano Boost. Broom Boy, there's the Blessed Shield here, Taco.
Yeah, Leoric trying real hard to get his team level 10s as well.
Looks like Death and Delayed managed to stick alive, and they find their level 10s. What are we looking at?
We are looking at Entomb, the bathtub, Phoenix coming out of Kael'thas, a Nubrak yet to decide. We have Holy Word Salvation. I had to figure out what the words
Leap coming in from bashing. There's the Holy Word Salvation.
Team. really low health bars though. Sonya coming in, really destructive. Li Ming and Tracer do pick up the kill on Jimmy and Katie. Anduin gonna fall as well from those resets on Li Ming. That is a hybrid build Li Ming. Basically looking for all the damage she can in every little aspect of damage that she can work out of this build. I think she's going for.
We've got the Force Armor on one, we've got the Triumvirate, we've got the Calamity, the Disintegration Beam. Lots and lots of tools coming out from Broomji for sure.
I mean, honestly, let's look for... it could go either way between Illusionist and Glass Cannon at this point, but looks like we're probably going to get a Glass Cannon and a Arcane Orbit. Or a Mirror Ball. I forget.
I'm a little worried about... Okay, there's no Pyroblast, so you can take Glass Cannon here for sure.
Right, yeah, there's no Pyroblast. So to go back to that, Entomb Phoenix, Locust Swarm, Salvation, and Rainer's Raider. Like I said, I couldn't remember what the words for not Light Bomb were.
Not Light Bomb? I know, there's so many little Anduin things that we just don't get to know because they're never chosen. I recently learned last week to finally learn which ability was Chastise, so that's fun. There's one apparently called, like, Celestial Star or something. Like, the wave. He throws out the wave.
Yeah, Divine Star. It's just Anduin things.
Next time.
Like, nobody cares, because he's a terrible character in, like, everything except actually, like, playing the game.
What do you think about Anduin being stolen into the sky recently?
I have no idea. I stopped playing WoW after Legion because for multiple reasons, but yeah,
the Chastise hits there. Ogle the Great has to pop right back into the same spot. Oh, Phoenix not going to get the last hit.
Less than 200 health. Death and Delay taking advantage of this fight. They are fighting a 4v3 right now. Tracer sitting in mid, trying to get some soak to do something for the team while not there. Sonya and Leoric just battling at it. Sonya holding top. Again, Leoric not really worried about that objective and just going back and forth, trying to keep XP for the team. Death and Delay is trying to push into this fort, but just can't get it took.
Pushing into an Ana. Always a difficult prospect. Bottom fort still stands here for Scalding Sweat Cult. Ogle the Great dives in on MDC. Oh, there's the burrow charge. Oh my god, the medallions this game.
She's gonna get away with it. Sonya does it. Alright, there's a little bit of justice for Death and Delay. But yeah, I hate the Rin family. I hate Gin Greymane. It's just unfortunate how good those characters are in Heroes of the Storm.
They do have a way of finding their way into the meta. This Broom Boy's gonna get chased out here by MZ.
Yeah,
so we had some doubts about our Tracer in the early going, but seeing Ogle just interrupt these Leoric rotations and find these mid lane picks, I'm starting to see the value here.
And that's kind of what I was going to say about Tracer earlier, and then I forgot. But when I was talking about something like seeing the Zeratul again, the idea having that rotational gank, and so I would probably have preferred to see a Valera, but Tracer doing the same thing here, just going back and forth, causing havoc. A better teamfight presence for sure, but really doing work. Credit to Ogle.
Absolutely, they're filling that harassment role. I haven't seen a Valera in quite a while. I don't think I've seen a Valera this season at all. Be interesting to see whether whether I get to see a nice playoff Valera in one of my games.
She's in a rough spot for sure. It's too easy to, because the thing that Zeratul has over Valera, is that if you reveal him, you can still do everything. Valera,
that's true, yeah.
Red team has
Leo being zoned out once again, but the rest of Death and Delay going to grab this bottom fort. They are down 16 talent here. So it looks like Tracer's going to try to flank in. Delta Sniper.
Yeah. So we got a fair fight up top. While we have a fair fight down bot, and a lot of damage going out onto Tracer. There's the big bomb on
Blessed Shield coming on out. Burrow charge to try to get away. Broom Boy finds the Condemn though. Huckett. Oh, the Salvation coming through from Anduin. Scatters Scalding Sweat Cult.
Joanna gonna fall to Jimmy the Large Minion Rainer. And Leoric manages to has Sonya real low. Sonya having to back. Leoric getting the shrine, that's what that's called. And
Is
Death
game
and
2 happening again here? Death and Delay. 0-16. Starting to look real scary here.
Up invading the siege camp. Look at that.
Look at those beetles go. Oh my goodness.
Boys.
The burning.
Oh, the rage. Oh, I love it. And then the camp, Dragon going the wrong direction. Dragon getting picked up by Leoric.
Another honorable 1v1. Anubarak versus Camp spoiled by Dauntress and Delta Sniper.
Well, I mean, it's Kael'thas. You can't expect Kael'thas to do anything honorable.
That's true. That's true. Big push in the bottom lane. We've got a double camp stack here. Triple camp. And a dragon.
And a dragon. See, this is what I was talking about.
This bottom keeps in
Three-camp
trouble.
spot lane, it's so easy to push it once you start to get some advantage. And so now having the dragon, I expect this keep to fall. I expect some mid-keep damage.
Broomboy just trying to grab up the back line. Hope for a big pop-off from Broomg. Bashing, looking for any opportunity to leap in here. With the keep gone. And Leo inside, almost certainly going to be able to Wraithwalk out of there.
And that's a good call. Take it, you know, we have the keep. Oh, right, the mid fort's still up. So we have the keep. Let's back out. Let's not get too greedy. Let's hit the mid fort a couple of times. Leoric gets out just fine.
Looks like the disengage is complete.
This is a really good opportunity to do something dumb. On both,
it
for
surely
both teams.
is.
You can try to chase the dragon and engage after it goes away, and you lose that fight. You can try to stay and get a fight after your dragon goes away by staying in an aggressive position, and you lose that fight. So both teams making a good decision to just back off, get their camps, regroup. I like it. We're seeing some really good clean play here in Game 3.
You see some boring smart plays. Retreating and not taking silly fights coming out from Scalding Sweat Cult and Death and Delay.
Yeah,
Gonna
that's how I
grab
learned
their
how to
experience
tank,
and
it's boring. And then once I realized that if you're tanking right, you're on your mount 80% of the game, then I started tanking better. I'm not gonna say well, but I started.
You're sitting
better.
in bushes. You're sitting on your mount. Just having a great time. Oh, some extra damage onto Broomboy in the mid lane. Checking in on the top. Looks like the Bruiser camp's gonna slowly smack into each other up there.
Yeah,
Death and Delay really wants this mid
trying
fort.
to sit in their spell armor, but the blue spell armor goes away first. Sonya looking a little low, but jumps back in. Lots of stuff for her to heal off of there surrounding.
Did Tracer just throw a pulse bomb onto the Banshee and have it hit 4 people?
I couldn't tell you. But
Holy Word Salvation coming out. Counter onto Broomboy. Johanna's going to go down. The counter kill onto Kael'thas.
Yeah, I think
Ogle the Great trying to get away.
There. Both teams saying, nah, never mind, I don't want it. But it looked like Death and Delay was starting to press into that after taking out Johanna. Did not want to push into the fort. Makes sense.
Precarious
really
fight
cool
position.
change.
But without Johanna in the front, Broomg and Viper are left trying to defend this. Looks
So
like
we do get
mid-fort's going to go
Illusionist
down.
Mirror Ball.
Red team has destroyed a fort.
Yeah, that makes
Harness
sense.
the power of sun and
Taking that extra armor, that extra blink distance. Shrines are up here. We're going to have another... See how honorable the 1v1 in the top lane is this time. But it looks like Death and Delay has got the lane pressure to really grab a quick dragon if they can.
Yeah, Sonya's already on the shrine, so that's not going to go in favor of Death and Delay right off the bat. But Leoric headed up with about a 25% health advantage. Gets a lot of heal. The dirty
Tomb is
bathtub
out.
from level 20.
Leap will
And
secure the
leap
escape.
away. Is Leoric going to be able to catch up? No, Sonya gets out. I'm not going to say clean. She did take a bath, but not going to get out clean quite right there.
Broomboy noping in the other direction. Fashion got to be careful here. Trying to come around the outside. Double stun is good, but there's the Iron Skin. Johanna going right in.
Here.
Bashing is getting the flank here onto Kael'thas. Dauntress in trouble as well. That's Kael'thas down. Rainer's down. Anduin taken out here. Anubarak with the counter kill, but that... Oh, that's... Sorry, same team. 4 kills here. The counter kill from Scalding Sweat Cult.
So I saw like
down.
3 people on Scalding Sweat Cult walk away after that fight, but I thought there was only 2 of them there, and 4 people on Death and Delay died. So
Uh-oh, Tracer in the Entomb on the other side.
Oh,
MDC,
man.
swipe
What
it!
an escape.
Oh
Yeah,
my
that's
goodness.
wow. That's heartbreaking for
Did you
for
see
NGC.
that entomb placement? It was a full body block on the other side of the shrine. That was an incredible
he
play.
couldn't get to her?
Tracer couldn't get out at all.
Ah, yes.
Oh, that was hilarious. Scalding Sweat Cult, they've got the dragon, they're thinking about at least keep. Though the bottom lane's a little bit pushed out here, so they're going to be relying on these siege giants to try to tank the wave and do a bit of damage.
Yeah, Scalding Sweat Cult, it's kind of an awkward dragon. They obviously want to even out the lane and get this keep down. But they don't have the push. They're there together, but I think this dragon's going to go down really fast.
I don't think this keep is even in play at this point. Bashing coming around the outside, decides not to go for the mid fort, going to be ready for a leap. The dragon is going to get the wall, and it's already down to about 10% health here. Scalding Sweat Cult's on the retreat. Oh no, Tracer caught in the entomb once again. The silence comes out, Chastise lands, but Tracer's still pretty high health. The counter engage coming in from Scalding Sweat Cult. Broomboy catches 5.
Big condemned, saved by the salvation right after. Good save by Anduin. Now Sonya trying to spin away with not much health left. The undertow, the thing is missed by Puckett trying to pick up the Sonya. Looks like a lot of things are gonna happen and nobody's gonna die because this is game 3.
The mystical spear and the 60 armor saves Sonya somehow, taking what looked like 30,000 effective damage and living. Death and Delay, they're going to start to reset these lanes. They've got bottom pushed in. They're thinking about possibly a double camp here. Though if you're thinking double camp, usually you want to try that in the reverse order. It looks like Scalding Sweat Cult's going to get a free clear on the first one.
Yeah, you definitely want them pushing together. Look at that wave. Oh no, it's not as big as I thought. Still a lot of archers top.
That could get some work done. Looks like it's starting to cleave away a bit. There's another wave right behind it.
Yeah,
Oh, we got a fight breaking out here. Sonya taken down. Dawntress somehow still alive here inside the spell shield. Broomboy trying to work their way on out of here. Raynor is down. Broomboy's taken down as well. 3 for 1 for now for Death and Delay. They've got this camp.
Yeah,
I think
that
this
fight
could be
got
core.
split up really well, and Death and Delay coming out on top, isolating the, I believe it was the Tracer was isolated down bot, or maybe that was Jimmy that died down there.
This
Yeah, it had
barely
to have been
caught
Jimmy,
Sonya
'cause it was
kill.
2-on-1 at the bottom.
This barely caught Sonya kill brought to you by me, fascinated with archer minions.
Exactly.
And this core is going to be pressed onto by Death and Delay.
And Salvation. Up again.
A stun coming out though.
A lot of value underneath that core. A dirty bathtub on Li Ming. She's not going to be able to jump out. There it is with 19 health. Gets back into her fountain. But Death and Delay going to take game 3 on the reverse sweep. So let me go to the scorecard. I believe that's 3 and 6.
That's true. Death and Delay will end the season in 3rd place. Scalding Sweat Cult with the 1-map victory will be in 6th. So they're gonna play each other.
Oh yeah, that's a rematch too. I didn't even
Yeah.
think about that. Basically
The
everything
5-4,
except for a
2-0 for Death and Delay would have been them not playing each other again. But now they're gonna play each other again as 3rd and 6th seed.
Everyone be like, well, see you guys next week. Oh man.
Wow,
Okay, so
what?
that's kind of nutty.
Once again, this score screen looking very familiar. 14 kills to 6 for Scalding Sweat Cult. And yet it is Death and Delay with the victory.
Yeah, Death and Delay they weren't playing in a way that needed the kills. So Scalding Sweat Cult has a lot of team fight pressure, but not a lot of siege. So they need to win the team fight before they can push. Death and Delay, you got Kael'thas with the AoE. You've got Leorica going back and forth. Raynor can push with the Raider. He's got some decent damage anyway. So and Anub'arak with the Beetles. You can just kind of keep stepping forward. And if a fight breaks out, you can take it. But otherwise, you don't need it. That makes sense?
Yeah, definitely a strong recap there. Just Death and Delay just kept hanging around. They'd lose a member mid, they'd lose a member bot, but then just keep maintaining their position. Scalding Sweat Cult couldn't get a whole bunch done off those kills. And just moving like an inevitable Arthas into the core here. Take a quick look at the talents, and then we're going to see if we can get ourselves an interview with our victors.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right, let me just throw up the blocker here. Let's jump down to lobby 5. Here we are. Oh, I don't think they'll be able to come in here. Let's go up to the open lobby 5.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
It's my bad. I saw a lobby in 5.
All right, and MZ is here to join us. Congratulations on the 2-1.
Thanks. That was fun. A little stressful.
A little stressful indeed. Reverse sweep there, coming back 2-1. And we were looking at the playoff picture before, and you've secured yourselves an opponent of Scalding Sweat Cult in the coming week.
Wow. Well, I guess that's good. I mean, it's interesting. This game ended up being changed the date because they reached out to me the last minute last week, and we ended up creating a scenario where originally they were going to be missing a player and had to have a sub, and I inadvertently agreed before confirming with my team because it was our regular practice time on Sundays. So we ended up with a sub. So either way, I guess the game wouldn't have ended up being a strict rematch.
It was quite the series indeed. Reverse sweep there. Taking a look at Tomb of the Spider Queen, game number 1. It seemed like Scalding Sweat Cult had a sort of all guns firing, team fight style there. After game number 1, what was the discussion like amongst the team and trying to turn things around for the rest of the series?
Well, I mean, to be honest, they played a comp that works a lot like our preferred comps, and so we just played shit that would have pissed us off.
All right. Well, we definitely saw a change in style there. Looking at game number 2, the big thing that we noticed on the cast was the change of pace from Huckett on the Diablo. A lot of picks there early on, but started to really choose those engages differently into the late game. How important do you feel that was in that Battlefield of Eternity victory?
I think it was pretty important, but it's also, a question of Diablo getting souls and Stukov getting his ult. And so, in the early game, we really only had the choice to make a quick pick. But as the game went on, it was more reasonable for us to wait because they couldn't just light us up.
Well, I would argue on that or not argue, but my counterpoint to that would be that it wasn't even at level 10. It was level 16, maybe even around that area where it looked like Diablo, where Huckett stopped looking for it and started waiting for it.
Yeah, to be fair, we talked about that earlier in the game. Maybe that's just the point at which it manifested itself.
Oh, and that's great. I mean, that's what we're saying. It's like I even made the comment. I want to know what Coach said at halftime, because it was a very apparent transition as soon as it started happening, and it was great. I mean, it was definitely what I think changed the game and the series into your momentum.
Huckett and also Delta are very veteran players, so we have a lot of opportunity to adjust as long as we have the composure to sort of call it out and do it, but basically the rest of us.
All right,
Was the beginning of that game too? Do you think there was some carryover in the mindset from game 1 where because game 1 it didn't look like y'all even got the opportunity to press your buttons. You didn't get a chance to Emerald Wind everything away or anything like that. It was stun with the AoE blow up, and then the game was over. And so was there some of that frustration carrying over, and then y'all kind of got to reset and Huckett got into a rhythm, or what did that
I wouldn't even say that it was so much frustration. I think part of it is just that because we were playing with Sub, which is a team member from last season who's still very active on the team, but who we didn't play a lot with, we just were a little hesitant about where we were setting up, a little bit hesitant to where we were going to be. And like, you know, to be honest, if you're playing an AoE blow up comp and the other team is like not perfectly confident about where they are and what they're doing, you're going to punish it. And it just took us about halfway through the series to get comfortable enough with the 5-man we were rolling to just play our game.
Fantastic. And I mean, and that's exactly the kind of insight that I'm looking for there. And you did it, obviously you did that really well. And that, I think that became one of our big talking points, was how y'all made that transition. So good job there.
Yeah, absolutely. Taking a quick look there at game number 3, we saw the Tracer come out for Scalding Sweat Cult, but the big story of the game, at least for me, Holy Word Salvation on Anduin, was a huge fight turnaround a lot of times for you guys. Was that the plan from draft, or was that an adjustment that was made through the early game, getting into those level 10 team fights?
I mean, if we didn't talk about it, it's my hero. I picked it because it seemed right, but I definitely didn't overthink it. It was just, I tend to play both ults. I don't usually decide until it's time to click the button, and it just depends on like what feels right. And obviously with us squishies in the back lane getting picked on, like I didn't really think twice, just clicked it and ran with it.
Absolutely. Saw some hugely effective uses of it through that game. Very well done. Taking a look, we saw the Tracer come out from Ogle. Now, the Zeratul ban in the draft, it looked like you were trying to limit the sort of response that Scalding Sweat Cult ultimately came through with. Was there a thought to, like, it seemed like the play was they're going to hover Tracer mid, so we're just going to siege in the bot lane. Was that the plan that you were going through, or were there alternate strategies that you were starting to develop through that early game?
That's not really a Tracer specific thing. I mean, it's the map, right? Like, if you win the bottom, you win the game. Like, there's a reason why it's a little nerve-wracking. They took the bottom fort first. We, like, kept sieging, took the bottom fort, like, got the dragon and took the bottom keep. I mean, I've heard it said that you trade your top keep for the bottom fort on that map. I don't know if it's true, but I definitely like abide by a sort of principle that map bottom is the win lane.
All right, yeah. And bottom lane, you absolutely controlled into the late game there. And yeah, just pressing forward to victory. Great catches with the Holy Word Salvation. Just constantly getting the nice pushbacks from Raynor, the knockups from Kael'thas, and cruising through to a victory there. Now, you're in a pretty unique circumstance where you get to play the same team like right after this series. I don't want to get too far into the ultimate strategies and whatnot, but do you feel like having sort of a 2 series in a row set is going to be an extension of this series, or do you feel like both teams are going to have something new coming into the playoffs?
I think both teams are going to have something new coming for playoffs. I mean, at least speaking for us, like we worked really hard in the off season, then we worked hard in the early season and carried through what we did in the off season into the early season, and then like had a little bit of a, I don't want to say a rut necessarily, because I think we were actively expanding our like kit, and that, you know, going into the playoffs, we want to be able to use that whole kit.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Just using the knowledge gained over time, and bringing out something new. All you've got to do is win the one game each time. So, be definitely looking forward to seeing what you bring out there. Any closing questions there, Taco?
Yeah. So to follow up that last question a little bit, and again without revealing too much, because I'm sure they're probably watching the interview to get some insight, because you're playing them next week or next match. Is there anything that you saw out of them today, or that you want to kind of prepare for, or anything that you guys did other than the positioning that you kind of talked about? I'm sure you'll have your core 5 next time, but like something that you like, we really want to improve this aspect, or something out of them that you want to better prepare for.
I mean, honestly, like the big thing that stood out to me is the like aggressive Uther ban, which makes it seem like it seems to make a like first ban like insta click every time was a little surprising to me. As much as I like playing Uther, I feel like that tells me a lot about the way they want to play. As long as they're doing that, I'm expecting them to sort of come into my back lane. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know if that's a change of pace from them, but I'm certainly going to be looking for that aggressive blow up. It's fun to play. It's challenging to beat, but I guess that's my biggest insight from this game is that that's a style of play that I would expect to continue to see from them.
Okay.
All right, fantastic. Well, congratulations on ending the regular season in 3rd place. Strong performance tonight, and yeah, good luck in your playoff matches and good luck going forward.
Well, thank you very much. Thanks for the cast, and shout out to our coach and to our teammate who wasn't with us tonight.
Fantastic. All right. Well, maybe we'll see you next time.
Next time. Thanks.